car. Two men. One named Rich. That's me.
This is Jermaine. Just got off the toilet.
He's a foul man. This is the X's and O's of life.
Huh?
Did you people miss me? I don't think you did. It's fine. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I went to jail. No, I didn't go to jail. Life things happen and what have you. So this is the first guy I've done in. Well, that didn't sound right. Well, this is the first guy I've done in 37 years. No, this is the first recording I've done in 2 weeks. So, thank you for repopping my cherry. This fellow's name is Eric, and it's what is it, Cabral or Cabril?
Yeah,
Gabriel?
Wow. I thought third time would be a charm. It's Cabral.
No. Oh, that's a little fancy. You need that little, wasn't an ampersand? Is that the term? That little like thing? Yeah. I'm terrible with names. Like, I'm relatively intelligent, but I'm like, no? Okay. I don't know. Fine.
I usually get K-Brawl, which is funny because it's
K-Brawl.
the C, not a K, which is interesting.
They need to they need to probably get rid of the C or the K from the alphabet. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
it just,
kind of redundant,
right? It just feels like, I mean, generally speaking, you know which one is where and where it needs to be, but I don't know, man. Like, it just seems unnecessary. Right. It's like when you add like a double letter in a word, it's like, oh, fuck off. Get out of here. Yeah, you're unnecessary. Or like a silent letter. Get out of here.
Especially if you try to explain to your kids, all that stuff. English just makes no sense.
Nope.
We have rules, but then we don't have rules. Let's break the rules. Let's make up our own rules.
Yeah. I before E, except after C. Yeah. I'm like, dude, why?
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? Stop it. All right. Well, whatever. I don't know. Apparently, we're going down an alphabet rabbit hole. So, look, this is the interview edition of the X's and O's. You guys already know what this is. It's fine. Mostly because the guy on the right side isn't a bald black guy. So
I'm happy to fart bullets, though, if needed.
Listen, you know what? I appreciate that, and that's the dedication that I need from my guests. Just. That means the world to me.
Now, my question is, did he actually fart and then you put that sound over it? Oh, okay.
No. But he has like a weird, like this dude like shits like 10 times a day. It's super weird.
Oh, wow.
So
eat a lot.
We have somehow roped that into his online personality.
That's his brand.
Yeah. I guess things could be worse.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Can it be though? That seems like probably one of the worst you're associated with.
He could like He could like kids.
Oh, that's true. That's the worst of the worst.
Yeah. See, and
slightly above.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that could go. No. Yeah.
But yeah, he should really look into his diet, man. He's probably allergic to some stuff.
Oh, he eats terrible.
He's probably he can't tolerate certain things, and he just keeps eating it.
Yeah, well, stubbornness and what have you. It's fine. He's probably gonna text me. He's like, "Dude, what the fuck?" I don't know, man. Sorry. Like, you shit a lot. It happens. At least you don't touch kids. There you go. See, silver lining.
Exactly.
Oh my God, this is off the rails. I just love it. All right, so Eric, what's up, man? Thank you for coming. Appreciate you spending the time here with me. I know we were supposed to do this earlier and got rescheduled, probably because you didn't like to do this and you're like, oh, dude, I could absolutely take a nap, and I get it. But
I was on the no, I was traveling. We extended some vacation an extra week. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Where'd you go?
We went to Colorado, so
yeah,
I didn't want to do podcasts from there. Just didn't seem like it's too distracting, and Anyway,
right. And I would have felt terrible if you're like, oh, I took my time out from a vacation. It's like, dude, what? What do you go away? What is wrong with you?
But I'm glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you, but I gotta ask you, what the hell did you go to Colorado for?
Oh, dude. Dude, I don't know how, but I was able to avoid skiing for 51 years, bro. So I got convinced. My wife.
I'm sorry, you're 51?
Yeah, I'm 51.
Oh, fuck off.
So yeah, skiing.
Wow.
Dude. That's what it was about.
Really?
I'm just glad I didn't break anything. I have one black toe though. I would grew up with friends who like to fix cars or do whatever, and like they would have black nails, like just not because they painted it, because they break shit.
Right. Yeah.
And it just never healed. I have I think, permanent black toe from skiing. So I'm like, oh man, that's gnarly.
Oh, that's creepy. I kind of want to see it, but I also don't.
Yeah.
Because this isn't like OnlyFans, but still, like, what is happening?
Yeah. So that's. I'm glad I didn't break anything. That's the only thing that kind of like the scars from skiing.
Yeah, let's circle back and explain to me how you're 51 and you look younger than me.
Oh, dude. If I let this grow in, it would probably mostly gray.
Okay.
But I always say hair dye and healthy living, man. That's if you can stay in shape, bro, people just automatically assume you're still young. But yeah, the second you start really getting out of shape, I don't know, it ages us.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I just try to stay relatively thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, hair dye. I didn't think I'd be the hair dye guy, but the girl who cuts my hair was like, "You want to do a little bit, like salt and pepper?" And then all of a sudden, it was like, "Yeah, let's just keep doing it. Screw it."
Yeah. Yeah. My hairline was kind of like, "Hey, man, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, how are you? I can't hear you because I'm all the way back here." Oh, okay. So. And then I realized it was getting thinner. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do this naturally. I'm not going to have this happen. Yeah. And I'm like, look, good. I mean, don't lie to me.
I like it. A lot of, especially white guys, it's hard to pull it off because then, you get the whole cancer patient thing. But
that's not the way I would go. I would go like, you look like you don't like black folks. I'm like, that's not true.
Dude, you have to thank Michael Jordan for bringing that whole shaved head into style, and it never went away.
Right. And black guys pull it off super good. And white guys look like they don't like black guys.
No, there's so I see what you're saying.
See, now you got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm bearded, tattooed, and bald. I'm like, oh, all I'm missing is white power. And then that'll be.
I guess it depends where you are too, right? If you're in an area that has skinheads. But yeah, I got what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, and it's interesting because my wife's biracial, and then my co-host is a black fella, and I'm like, I don't look like I like black folks.
Yeah.
What do you expect from this podcast? I don't know. And I always make black jokes. It is ridiculous. I am a hot mess. So healthy. Okay. Healthy eating and hair dye. I can never do the hair dye thing.
Yeah, don't bother, man.
Obviously.
It's too high maintenance. Well, you can put it in the beard, but it's too high maintenance, dude. I don't do it myself. Like when I get my hair cut, then she'll do it. But yeah. Other than that, I'd be a hot mess. Like they always talk about, when before Michael Jackson died, I think it was Chris Rock. He said, man, if that guy went to jail, like and did his time, I want to see Michael Jackson like 4 months in, when the hair starts to turn, like when the makeup starts to melt away. Like, what is Michael Jackson without all that stuff?
That fucking would be me, bro. Ghoul. He looks like how he looks now. Like that's
yeah, pretty much.
Oof. Yeah, that guy is
too much work. Talk about touch. Hey, we're going back to the theme of the show, which I hope isn't the theme of the show, but yeah, talking about it could be worse than potty humor.
Yeah,
don't be Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that goes down a weird rabbit hole.
Yeah,
never mind. I'm not talking about the holes that goes into. Listen, gross. Okay, So now that we got all that out of the way, who are you and what do you do?
Dude, it's always like that, right? Where, hey, you're a dude. What do you do for a living, right?
Yeah.
And for sure, like that's just part of our culture. But what I try to do, and it's really hard, is like when I meet some dude at a barbecue or like some event, I'm like, "You a family guy? You got kids? Like that's really the important shit."
Yeah.
But I will say, yes, I'm a dad, and also been married for I don't know. I think we just celebrated our 15th anniversary, but we've known each other
Nice.
for 20 years. So first and foremost, dude, that's why I do all this stuff, man. Why I do, podcasting and creating brands for others, and just helping other people develop, their voice and their brand, whether it's a podcast, YouTube channel, things like that. So that's mainly what I do. That's my daily, and trying to get it to the point where the business runs without me. It ran without me for 2 years, and then I had to step back in and be like, oh, this is weird. Things have changed, and I got to come back in and kind of move furniture around. So yeah, on Air Brands, we've been producing podcasts. Now really heavy into YouTube channels, mostly for investors, for real estate investors, but all types of business owners. We even produce. One of the outliers is VaynerMedia, so we produce for Gary's CFO. I'm sorry, not CFO, CHO, Chief Heart Officer, Claude Silver. We produce her podcast. So some media agencies and people, but businesses mostly.
So I mean, what about it really get you up in the morning? You know what I mean? Like, what about that?
When you do something for a long ass time, you begin to realize, oh damn, I'm pretty good at this just naturally. So that's what happened to me. I woke up after like 20 plus years, being really good at this one thing, which is building brands and creating brands for people. And because I did it in corporate America forever. So then I have to do that for my clients. I have to make sure they're on top of it. I got to make sure they're consistent. They all want my feedback. Like, hey, how am I doing? I'm like, yeah, this is off brand. You're not doing this correctly. So because, the stuff that I've learned in corporate America applies to the little guy, because that's where it all started. It started from a little guy in a garage, and then all of a sudden it became a gigantic corporation like IBM or Apple, so that's where I want to go, man. I want to start with the little guys, and then let's make sure you're building a foundation so that when you do blow up, whether you do or not, it's all up to you and up to the market. Let's make sure that is real. Like you're not just creating something that you think people want. Let's put out who you truly are and attract people that you want to work with.
That's a great point too, because I don't know if we caught this on air or not. I don't know. I'm bad at what I do. It's fine.
Do you make money being bad at what you do?
I mean, from the interviews, a little. Yeah, I've made a little bit. I mean, I'll show my butt.
Yeah, you're bad at this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other stuff, no. I mean, I'm good at, but I hate it. It's fine. And funny enough, that's one of my biggest driving forces about wanting to do this and wanting to be. I mean, I guess the key word is the sexy word is successful, but to kind of piggyback off that, because I was going to comment on what you said there. I could go on here and be one of these popular, people. I'm a box of charisma, people like that. And I could cover the current event things and have some hot takes. That is not me, man. I am not that guy. That is zero passion to it. what I'm doing now is I really dig it. Like anyone that's ever listened to the show, which I'm gonna assume people that have listened to this show have listened to other shows, the other variations of the shows, and they know what I'm about. I think it's a very hard thing to do when you are a little guy, to stay true to what you are and not quote unquote sell out to make money, because that's like the biggest thing, right? Like, you know, with you think of selling out, you think of artists or music artists, and it's like, oh well, they sold out. Well, they wanted to feed their families, dude. Like this, I don't need this to feed the family. Like I already have a job now. Ideally, that job could fuck off. That would be great, but I'm also not gonna be like, did you see what they said? And like have a clickbaity title. I will throw myself off the roof. So that transitions into something completely unrelated to that, because who cares? What it's fine. What makes you so good at what you do? Because I'm always interested with that. When someone is super passionate and they're like, yeah, man, they plant their flag of like, yeah, I'm kind of that dude for this. Why? What makes you that?
Yeah, I think it's repetition, really. If you do something, you know, and I'm sure there's some magical quote, you know, from some amazing thought leader I can't think of right now, but
I probably said it.
Yeah, it's probably a quote from you. But you know, like picking up something over and over and over and over. You ever see that? You seem like you would know that. I forgot which cartoon it was, but there was like a character that had one arm that was massive, and like because he just kept working that one out, and then the other one was like rail thin. I forgot what cartoon it was, a movie or something. Maybe it was an anime or something. But it's like that. It's like you picking up this weight over and over and over and over. You're eventually gonna become extremely strong at that one thing, that one muscle. That's what happened to me for decades. You know, creating brands, building brands for corporate America, Fortune 100s, to the point where I got so bored of it, I had to leave. And I was like, I'm really good at this. I don't think there's anything more I can learn. So that's kind of like the midlife crisis era of my life. You know, I told you I'm 51, so probably around 10 to 8 years ago, I was like really like, what the heck am I doing? Like, I'm bored as heck. I want to figure something else out, and left corporate America and decided to get into real estate investing, which, yeah, was from left field. My wife's like, you don't know anything about real estate investing. So I was like, I'll figure it out. The internet is here. Let's go. Let me go get my learn on and do all that. And that drove me back to what I was doing, but now for real estate investors.
That's kind of crazy. There's no like magic sexy key there. You're just like, no, man, just kept doing it and reached my ceiling and my threshold and was like, yeah, let's go do this now.
Yeah. And if I fail, I fail. You know, I should get used to that. I'm too comfortable. That's what it was.
It's like beautifully simplistic, and I mean, not that it matters, but I'm super okay with that. Like it's almost like refreshing, right? Because you kind of did what you shouldn't do and quit a job before you had another job, kind of. And because you believed in yourself so much and you knew, like, you just came in there with big dick energy. You're like, oh yeah, man, no, I'm soup's good at this. So I'm going to go do this thing and then parlay that into this. And then I'm going to be magical at this too. So, haha.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're definitely boiling it down to its simplest, but I'll say the complicated part of it, dude, is really your mental state, like, and the confidence thing. For sure, I was overconfident in my abilities as a designer, as a creative director, but I applied. You ever hear of the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Nope, I'm an idiot.
It's dude, I just found out about it recently. So there's this guy that walks into a bank and robs it, and he goes home. He's got piles of cash, and the cops come knocking. They're like, "Are you?" Blah, blah, blah? Like, yeah. He's like, "You just robbed the bank. Come with us. You're arrested." And he's like, "How did you know it was me?" He's like, "I squeezed lemon all over my face." So he had earlier that day with his daughter found out that if you write with lemon juice, it's invisible on paper until you put heat on it, and then you could see the writing. It was like invisible ink.
Okay.
So he thought by putting lemon juice on his face
Oh, God damn it.
So the Dunning-Kruger effect is like, you know enough and you have confidence in that, but you don't know it all, right? So that was me, bro. Like, I was just I was happy with my ignorance in that. Like, hey, because I have crazy success here, I can apply it over here. And it worked because of the confidence up until a certain degree, right? And plus, dude, here's another part is my wife, like, it's super important to have a support system that actually believes in you and is backing you up, right? I always say
I have
Mickey,
a story for that when you're done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Rocky and Mickey, right? If he didn't have Mickey in his corner, he wouldn't be Rocky. So, like, dude, if she crapped on my dreams and my confidence, I wouldn't be here chatting with you. So yeah, those two major things, man. My Dunning-Kruger effect, I didn't know any better. and then the support system with my wife.
Well, I mean, you weren't taking lemon money shots, so I feel like you're okay.
But if I had known how difficult it would be, bro, like, yeah, I'd probably still be in corporate right now.
I don't know, man. I feel like if it's not hard, it's not worth it. That's kind of how I view it. Like how you worded it makes me feel very it's very similar to what I do for work, not the corporate side of it. I've reached my ceiling and I'm just like, no, I'm all set, man. I don't want to be here anymore. But it's interesting because the support system thing, literally yesterday, the wife came to the door and I allowed her to come in and speak to me because, sometimes I do allow her out of her cage. I'm a gentleman. She was like, "Hey man," I'm like, "What's up?" And she's like, "Look, I'm kind of doing this other stuff with the schooling thing, and like, would you be cool being?" And she worded it this way: "a house bitch." I'm like, yeah, be all set." She's like, "Yeah, you could just kind of focus on the podcast and."
Oh, you're like Mr. Mom,
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you fucking dumb? What do you think?" Of course, kid me. I hate my job. I work at home anyway, but I'm like, I hate my job. It's fine. And if you're wanting to do that, yeah, sign me up. She's like, "Well, you just have to make sure you're." I'm like, "Look, woman, I don't care what you're saying right now. Just do what you got to do, and I'll do what I got to do, and everything is fine." So then I put her back in the cage, and everything was good. But
hand her laptop so she can make money.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just wild. One, having that being said to you. Now, I don't know if that's going to come to fruition or not, but the fact that she is that invested in your brand, I guess, it's pretty cool, man. And I definitely can feel when you say, look, the support system thing, it is paramount. I'm not saying you need to have it if you're single and doing something like this. You don't, but you can still have another friend circle to uplift you and things like that. But that's the cool story, man. Just you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's also track record, right? And in the terms of what I do and what we're talking about here too, overall is like, if you have a business, what you want to eventually do with or without social media is you got to have a reputation, like a good one,
right?
Like if you've done some bad, shit along the way and you've hurt people and you've taken money and you haven't apologized for, like you have an ego basically.
Right.
Then you're going to have a really, really crappy reputation. I guess I had and it'll be hard to build a business or continue one. But with my wife, I guess I had a decent enough track record and reputation where I wasn't doing crazy shit over and over and over and over. I am sure, dude, if I had lost our life savings in Atlantic City, she wouldn't be like so quick to me jumping into real estate. So it was like one big risk over the past 10 years that I had known her. But yeah, I'm curious though what she knows of me now and all the risks that I've taken over the past 5-6 years. Would she say yes to me jumping into I'm getting into Bitcoin, I'm getting into NFT? Like she'd probably like, go screw off, dude. No way.
Yeah, that's always the tough part. You think about, there is really no reward without risk. It's kind of the same idea of like, if you just stay stagnant and just go on your predetermined path, what are you doing, man? You're existing. There's no life to be lived. If you have an idea and you have the chance to do it, just like, and you're not going to financially or emotionally or mentally cripple yourself and or family members, dude, take a shot. Shoot your shot.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Hey, I'm gonna go to a dark path here, and I think that you'll enjoy where we probably go with this. It's hard. The host side of me is like inside and like, come on, man, ask a question or move it in this direction. But you listen, roll with me,
dude,
Rich, on this.
do anything you want, man. This is I don't like formatted stuff.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Because we could talk about what I do, and I'm sure it's beneficial potentially in the long run to me or my business. But I want to talk about the reason I actually came here is to jam on some stuff that I don't normally talk about. And this is what I don't talk about, dude. What exactly you said. It's like purpose and having some sort of vision for yourself that's bigger than what you're doing now is so hard for people to step out of their comfort zone because it's so easy, especially, dude, the two most addicting things in the world is number one, heroin, and number two is a weekly paycheck. So like, that's what we're stuck with. That's what I was stuck with. I was like, give it to me, right in the veins. And I was like, it's easy because you can basically do whatever you want at some point when you have seniority. And then no one questions it. So here's the scary thing. When you have that and you have somewhat of disposable income, or, you have enough just to buy toys or enough credit to buy toys, what scares me is what's happening with society and AI is, now you know where I'm going with AI and technology. This was cool at the time, right? When we had the flip phones,
yeah.
I was like, oh, great. I don't have this long cord attached to the kitchen wall. I can go walk around and be like a doctor. Cool. And then eventually this came and like, oh, damn, there's a computer in my pocket. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, the world's information's in my pocket. And then all of a sudden that solved the problem, right? Like, I don't have to be tethered to my desk. I could work from anywhere. That's great. Kudos, Apple. You solved a big problem in the world. What the F are they solving with the Vision Pro?
Dude,
dropping that to your head, bro.
Listen.
What's the problem you're solving there?
I told the wife the first day that it came out, I'm like, there's going to be a bunch of fucking idiots walking across the street about to get ramrodded by a car. And the first thing I saw was this tubby sumbitch walking across the street. Like, I'm like, move your fat ass out of the fucking road. I swear to God, move your ass out of the road because you're going to get hit and you are literally causing a problem.
But you saw someone with a Vision Pro walking around?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like walking across the street, like rocking into traffic, like, because like, oh, I'm super important because I have buttons. Oh, sweet Christ almighty, I can't.
Dude, it's scary what it's going to do. Anyone who's a fan of sci-fi, read the book or seen the movie, I'm sure, Ready Player One, like, we're moving towards that. And if people are not aware, that's where it's moving. I'm like, then there's even less desire or need to go for that goal and take your shot, because why would I do that? I have a job and I get this on my head, and then I go live in another world most of my life, and I don't interact with people and crap myself all day long. Yeah, that's scary. And I think that what we're talking about is so important as far as like, don't do that. I mean, if you do, be very aware that it is like a heroin into the veins. It's designed to be addictive, just like the phones.
Look at the kids, man.
Yeah.
Like, not to be that old man on the pedestal, but like, do you know how many kids are going to wait, or even our generation, like, that are going to have like the most fucked up of necks possible because all they've done for literally all their lives was like,
terrible posture. We're gonna look like cavemen.
Yeah.
No one's gonna know how to type. We're gonna have gigantic thumbs. It's like,
yeah, and generally people are idiots now. Like I hate to say it that way, but people are generally stupid because if you need to question answered or you need to have there's no such thing as critical think. Well, there is, but people don't really use it.
No,
because you don't have to.
Well, the thing is, the propaganda is so powerful that all our lives we were programmed to not question authority. So like critical thinking, no. The critical thinkers became billionaires. They went and bucked the status quo and created Apple and Microsoft and SpaceX, but everyone else, all the little guys, don't question what we tell you to do. We know what's good for your education. We know what's best for your health. Just do it. And it's like, what is happening? Put this goggle on your face and don't live in the real world. Live in a virtual world and you'll be happy and you won't question anything. So that's what scares me. I was a huge tech bro and still am to a degree. I appreciate tech. I always bought the latest thing. I was always the beta guy. I was like Xbox beta tester when it first came out. And dude, it just scares me where I'm like, wow, either I'm getting old and wise or I'm getting cynical and curmudgeon-y old man. But I'm like, this tech doesn't make sense to me. Like, I love it, but I see where it can go. And what is the purpose? Why did you design this?
I think you went to digital rehab. That's what happened. You went to digital rehab and you realize, yes, I understand. I enjoy this drug. It makes all my things tingle. But you also have the self-awareness to realize, but here's the thing. Like with that tingle comes with these other tingles. And when the tingle is over, oh shit. Like you have that. That's a weird analogy, but but like, to break that down for anyone that's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Here's what I mean. You're aware, you appreciate its existence, but you know its detriment. And you see the bigger picture of what this thing could do and can do instead of just seeing like you're actually reading the fine print. That's what you're concerned with, the fine print, because you see the fine print. The other people are like, ooh, shiny neon color. Haha. Put me in, coach. So
yeah. No one reads the terms and conditions like that South Park episode. Right. You're like, wait, what did I sign? You signed the iTunes terms and conditions. Come on, don't you remember? But that's kind of what we're doing here. Like we're just we're accepting it. We don't realize that if it's free, then we're the product. Like,
and it's a flex thing too. I mean, people
getting the product, like
and the ego thing. Oh, absolutely. Like you said it earlier with the ego thing. It's an absolute flex. It's like, oh, I got this new thing. It's like, okay, I don't. But
it's you're right. It's toys, basically. It's the same reason that
it's grown-up toys.
People want to buy toys, TVs, cars, houses, whatever it is. The latest gadget, but this particular gadget is off the charts as far as the addictive qualities, what it could do. They keep touting it's for production, like, hey, this is the most productive, you could do your computing, spatial compute, whatever it is. Like, no, people are going to be watching Netflix. People are going to watch 3D movies all day long, every day.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
But that's the thing that makes it sound like it has more to it than it's kind of like appealing to the people like us that are skeptical of, not even skeptical, but it tries to appeal to those people that see more of it than the regular consumer. It's like, oh, no, this isn't just for play. Like, so the work at home people, Listen, you could be down on your couch, on your nice soft couch, instead behind your stuffy desk. And it's like you'll get some of those people like, fair enough. But then you have someone of your ilk that's like, yeah, dude, we know what's really gonna happen. Like, have you ever seen 3D porn? Let's go. Like, that's what it's gonna be. It's not gonna be.
Yeah,
but that's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to appeal to those richer consumers.
Yeah,
that just want it.
You made an interesting point there. So when you and I were growing up, I'm guessing you're probably.
I am 37.
No, I was just gonna say I was gonna guess you're 40, but yeah, I was in the range.
Yeah, you were.
You're old enough to know there was a time before discs. You're right, Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS.
Yeah.
Like you remember when the only way to see a movie was in the movie theater, right?
Yeah.
And then if you were gonna ever watch it at home, you'd have to wait years for it to come out on VHS. I'm old enough where I remember Beta, and then VHS, and all of a sudden that whole industry took over, which is getting screwed. That whole industry is screwed right now because of streaming. But anyway,
how bad do they just feel like the DVD collectors? It's like, oh, these are useless.
But dude, my point is VHS, yes, as the normal consumer, we loved it because now I can get the movie, a few months after, maybe a year after a theatrical release. But dude, the biggest industry in the VHS, in the whole home distribution, it was porn. Like that was if you see a whole pie of where the people are spending their money on VHS, it wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's on pie.
Grandma, it wasn't Universal. Yeah, it was porn. That was the biggest slice of the pie. And the thing is, they're creating this Vision Pro, they're creating this Oculus, all this stuff for sure as entertainment and productivity, but they know where it's going, bro. Like, go to Asia, man. Like, those guys are addicted to sex bots, porn. Like you said, I didn't even know about 3D porn, but 3D porn, that makes sense.
I just made that up. I just figured it was a thing.
Dude, well, it's got to be a thing. Now with deepfake,
fuck, I hope not, because we got to invent that shit right now.
I'm sure
not me and you.
It's in Japan, I'm sure.
Fuck. All right, fair.
But dude, like, yeah, that's where it's all going. Like, put on my Oculus. Oh, I'm hanging and banging Taylor Swift. Oh, cool. Like, that's where I'm gonna live the rest of my life, in this virtual world.
And that's so scary.
Why do I want to do this? Like, in my regular life, boring.
I could go deep with this and be, like super philosophical.
Yeah,
and I'm going to, because it's my fucking show.
That's why I want to go with you there, man, because let's try to solve the world's problems.
Dude, let's go. Absolutely. Look, not for nothing, like a little sidebar here. That's kind of why I really dig what I do with my shows, because I feel like we offer an interesting take on a lot of things, but I feel like we also say a lot of things people aren't able to say or don't really have the vernacular to say. And I feel like we help some people. I don't know if we do. In my head, I feel like we do, which makes this even more worth it. But anywho, I feel like today's generation, where's my soapbox at? Oh, I can't find it. I feel like they're so emotionally retarded, and I mean that in the most clinical of ways, that escaping one's problems and going into a virtual space where they almost have like a double life almost is easier for people than dealing with complex emotions or emotional insecurity or mental deficiencies or anything like that. I feel like this is going to make us even more socially, well, I hate to use this word because I don't mean it in the detrimental sense that people use the word, but it's going to make us even more socially retarded.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because we suck at being people anyway. Like, we sucked before COVID, and I thought post-COVID, well, we're still not in post-COVID, but let's the quote unquote end of COVID. I thought when we were all isolated, we would come back with a fury and be so. It's kind of like when you're sick. And that first day that you're not sick, everything is beautiful. You appreciate life so much. I was hoping that post-COVID, people would appreciate the ability to be people with people outside. And it actually drove a larger wedge than what we were at before. And whatever, fine. If this is a new evolution of social stuff, okay. But I think with everything that's here, and I think people's ability to get their emotions and handle those tougher issues is spent on Twitter. Yeah. Like it's everything is siphoned and filtered into hatred or being mad or disagreeing just to disagree, and you escape in that little time loop, and now you have this thing that you can literally put on your head that you can swipe and press your finger to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
it is
irresistible. There's no way.
Not for me, dude. Fuck that noise.
Dude, it's going to be for the majority of people, including myself, dude. I'm sure the first time I put that on, I'm going to be like, this is amazing. Like, what am I experiencing right now? But like you said, having the self-awareness where you're like, this is addictive. Like, I'll take one toke and I'm walking away. Like, that's cool, man. I liked it. I experienced it. I'm out. I'm not going to subscribe and make this a part of my life. Because most people, because people are like, it's too expensive. It's $35. Do you remember the iPhones when they came out? Like, now everyone has one. They make it affordable.
Dude, people will find a way.
Everyone's
going to
have it.
Sure.
Dude, yeah. Rest assured, 5 years from now to 10 years, every single household will have a Vision Pro or some version of it. And dude, it's wild. I think what's going to happen is we're not going to be convincing people to think differently on a massive scale. Like you said, during 2020, kind of in 21, it split people, right? I've definitely experienced the other side where, I went to huge events and everybody was just like, it was like a rave. Everybody went nuts. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's definitely
house.
things like that,
like,
right?
Everybody was having a great time, right? But I think there's this faction of people that are like, hey, man, I want to live outside of the digital world. I want to have some sovereignty. I want to like farm. I want to have some chickens. I don't want the government telling me what to do every day of my life and how to raise my kids and whether I can have guns or not. All those things, right? So then I think what I've been coining this as is like the new Amish. There's going to be a group of people, and you could throw my ass in there.
Amish with tattoos. Like, got it. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like we're going to ask for sovereignty and say, hey, we want to live like it's 1999. Like when I still had a flip phone, I had a dumb phone. I like technology. I want to play. I want to do my things, but I don't want it to rule my life. I don't want it to dictate my life. I don't want it to be completely ingrained into everything that I do. Like that's going to happen. Like there's the Amish, and I'm still fascinated how they got away with that. Like they're like, hey, we're going to live our own thing. We're going to do our own thing. Much respect. And then there's like the next version of the Amish where it's like, it's 1999 here. When you come in, you got a smartphone, leave it at the border, like, put it in a bucket. We're living here and we got tube TVs.
But you could do that now though. Like that's the thing. Like for the most part, like all it is willpower.
What's that?
All it is willpower. I feel like that could be a thing today, but you said it yourself. It is literally the heroin. It's like the new cool heroin. It's like the legal heroin. That's what it is. It's legal heroin.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, dude. Like when we were playing Asteroids or when I was like, in arcade games with putting a quarter in, like those things were not designed to the degree that what's out there now with Facebook and all this stuff. It's designed to be addictive, dude. Right. It was, I don't know if people know this, but like Google was a government operation. Like it was completely funded by the government. Yeah, DARPA, all of that stuff, dude. That was a Google initiative. So of course it became like, oh, wait a minute. we now can just keep extracting like how people are viewing and what they're viewing and searching for. That's how it started. Oh, innocently seeming. But dude, now look, Google owns everything. YouTube, everything we watch, everything we do, every move every cursor, everything we do on our phones and computers, they know it all. So it's absorbing that knowledge. It's creating AI. It's feeding the beast. And then it's just more of it, dude. There's definitely going to be a faction of like digital life or normal, like without digital, whatever the word is.
I mean, oh man, I mean Amish. I mean, kind of Amish with tattoos. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, dude. You know, there's even like within the Amish, there's some that embrace a little bit of technology, right? You go there, you're like, hey, I want to buy this loaf of bread, and you got to swipe a credit card. So I always laugh, you know, when they pull out the little thing, and I got to do the thing. I'm like, oh, look at you. See, you embrace technology because the dollar's going away, right? There's no more. When's the last time you actually gave somebody a dollar bill, right? It's always like, what's your Venmo? What's your like?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know the stripper's name, but yeah.
But yeah, she's gonna need Venmo. She's gonna need something to. But
you just slide the card down the crack of her ass, or just...
see that works. But yeah, it's dude, Amish. There are levels of Amish that still use technology, you know, gas, electric. So I think there's gonna have to be some stake in the ground.
What do you think it's going to cause that? Do you think there's going to be like almost like a social uprising because of it, or
yeah, for sure, dude. And not to be a pessimist, half glass thing, but I think it's going to be the more government control and push. The more pushback there's going to be. The more they try to force people and ram people like ideas into people who, like you said, are critical thinkers and are beginning to question things. It's like, dude, I was in pharma for over 20 years and I drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, yeah, this makes a lot of money. We're saving lives for sure. Right. There's a lot of different things, but there was clearly some bizarre agenda behind the scenes where it was like, wait a minute, what are you saying? This doesn't line up. And then you start to go back to the track record reputation. Right. I couldn't tell my wife that I wanted to do that if I had a crappy track record with money. Well, same thing, dude. Pharma has a crazy track record of hurting people and paying for it so nobody hears about it, right? So it's like, why are we trusting this industry that all of a sudden it's like, what? Why everybody's so trusting? The government, if the government was a company, it would have failed a lot. Like, dude, they were like, get rid of everybody. We're closing shop. Let's start a new, right? The guy who created Walmart should be running the country. Like the guy who created like Bezos.
I was going to say, if the government was a company, it'd be Walmart. Absolutely.
It's crazy, dude. You got people in there. You got the president of the United States, dude. I'm fired up right now. Who has been institutionalized. He's never had a job outside of the government, bro. Never, ever. He's been in the government his entire life. So like, think about us. Like if I stay in a company for decades and decades, what the heck do I know? All I know is what's inside this little bubble. I don't know about the world. I don't know about anything. So it's like, dude, that's why everybody was like, oh no, what's going on with Trump? Everything was like, dude, the company, the country was flourishing, right? Because the guy ran businesses. He ran businesses. He knows how to run businesses. He knows how to manage money. That's clear. Whether you love or hate him, that's a fact. The guy knows how to run business. Why is it that everybody that's in office doesn't know anything about business, bro? Nothing. That's huge. And we continue doing it over and over and over and over, which is the sign of insanity, right? If you keep doing something that doesn't work, you're insane. We're insane. We keep electing the same officials.
It's always been like a weird thing to me. It's kind of like a ballsy kind of thing to say, like, yeah, hey, I'm going to run this country. It's like, dude, how do you run that whole country?
Yeah.
Like,
you're basically signing papers that you put on your desk.
Right. That's such an undertaking.
Yeah. Dude, every once in a while, somebody comes around and they're like, okay, yeah, you did a good job. But then it's like, you're out, like 4 years, in, out,
right.
It goes by fast. So I'm not saying, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm pro-American. I'm not like anti-American. I love America, born, raised here. But yeah, it's just, you question shit when you start to realize, man, I forgot who said it best, but whatever the guy who created Walmart, like if you look at the track record of Walmart and what he did to grow that business from nothing to this massive, like one of the number one, if not at times the number one business in the world, like that is someone that you're like, okay, ask him some questions. Like, what's he doing right? Like, how is he running a multi-billion trillion dollar company? Oh, let's take some of that playbook and apply it to over here. Like, no. You know why? Because there's so much red tape, bureaucracy, people getting paid under the table. Like, it's so much, dude. It's straight up gangster what's going on, and that's why it doesn't work because too many people are getting paid under the table.
There's never been a business that was clean that was successful. It just doesn't work.
True.
It like you have to have some skeletons and some dead bodies somewhere.
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, we don't. If anyone ever looked in, and I've never done this, but from what I hear, the Kennedy, you trace that whole line. It goes right to prohibition, and like it was gangster stuff. Like it was all illegal stuff, and that's how they made their money and their wealth. Right, during a time when everybody was like, give me a taste, so like, yeah, for sure. But at some point, like let's like you said, let's open the closet, let's clean some stuff up.
Yeah, but then shit's gonna crumble. Like,
yeah,
that's the problem. Like, and we're so reliant on, like, that's the thing. We went from like self-reliant, not in our lifetime, fuck no, but we went as a people from self-reliant to completely codependent on everything around us.
Oh yeah.
Like it's terrifying because they were doing maintenance on our internet a few days ago. The wife couldn't work. I couldn't work. Our security cameras weren't working. And we were like bored and just kind of like we didn't realize how dependent we were on that for certain things in the house. And it's just like that's scary. It's scary how slaves we are to this stuff. And
it's
maybe you have a point where, at a certain point, people are going to be like, dude, we can't keep doing this. Like, this is like actually unhealthy on a multitude of levels, like the mental and the emotional toll, having like, how do you punish your kids now? I don't know how old your kids are, probably,
take away the digital. Yeah.
There you go. Like before, here's a perfect example. Before, if you, with me, you can't go outside.
Right.
I'm fucking sorry. What now?
Yeah.
Why?
You're grounded. Yeah. Yeah,
like,
you wanted to be outside. You wanted to go hang out with your friends. Now it's like you're grounded. You're like, thank you. What are you talking about? I got the world here. I got my friends here.
Right.
And I don't need to leave the house.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, dude. I mean, so like to go to a little bit of a hopeful side of things. I think, and I don't even know if this is hopeful, but I don't know if you're a Rogan fan, but I've heard him say this multiple times.
No, I'm not. I think he's a douche.
He could be douchey. But this idea, I think, could be not. It's not the solution, but it's the evolution of an idea. He calls this like we're this digital electric caterpillar butterfly thing where we subconsciously don't even realize we just keep building more and more technology, more and more AI, to the degree where we get integrated, right? Neuralink, all this stuff's getting implanted in our heads, and we become cybernetic, we become half robotic, AI, whatever it is, it's evolving to
Dude, that's close, I'm telling you.
Dude, we can't stop it. There's no stopping it. Look what happened. They opened the genie. They opened up the bottle with AI, over a year ago. And everybody's like, oh, no, put the genie back. I was like, no, it's too late. Like there were no sanctions. There were no, like the Musks and the brains of the world. Let's get together and see if we should let everybody, gain access to this. They're like, no, this is a democracy. Give it to everyone. And then it was like, whoa, what's happening? So now look at this. There's deep fakes. There's AI. They can replicate your voice. My face is probably not even us right now. Like all that stuff is so evolved. Think about it. The government releases to us technology that is decades old to them. Like by the time we got GPSs in our car, bro, they had been using it for decades in military vehicles. Like that is a government foundational tech that was given to us. So if we're getting AI, if we're getting all this stuff, although I think they don't have a clue what AI is, like the government, but why don't we get the brains of the world to come in together and say, hey, what's going on here? But my point is, with the digital caterpillar, we're evolving into this thing where who knows what that is. We become aliens. We become these telepathic gray, right? Big brains, little bodies, because we don't exercise. All we do is stay in the house. You know, like we evolve into that thing. And then and who knows, man? Maybe that is us from the future. That is our inevitable plot in life. We become these weird gray because we don't go out into the sun.
I thought you said this was supposed to be optimistic. What the fuck?
But that the optimism there is the species evolves to something else, right?
Right.
Thank goodness and God we won't be here for that. Like, you know, our kids will, unfortunately.
I don't think so. Who knows? I mean, shit, that could drop tomorrow.
Yeah. So, dude, yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know where it's all taking us, but yeah, we're not going to live long enough to see how we'll see some crazy.
It's a scary path, man. It really is, and I think there are. I think it's one of the few things in life where there isn't really a gray area on it. It's either you love it or you hate it. Like, I mean, I guess you could be sort of in the middle, like, well, it's there, but you know, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. That I feel like that's more of the ignorance, you know, ignorance kind of plea deal on that kind of. Well, I'm not sure. You just don't want to say either way.
Yeah.
Because
I guess to your point, it's almost like, so I've never tried heroin, never planned to, but I hear that through Artie Lang, because I was a big Howard Stern fan. He's like
Artie Lang.
What's that?
I like Artie Lang.
Yeah, Artie's a great dude. I wish him the best. He though said heroin is so good, it's like the best thing you could. I mean, that's why it's so addicting.
I was born addicted to it, man.
You were born addicted to it?
Yeah.
So you could speak to it more than I can, but I'm imagining.
Not really. I was an infant, but
well, yeah. But what I'm saying is, it's like this is digital heroin, right? The Vision Pro and Quest and all that stuff will be addictive on purpose.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's like, yeah, how can you say I love you? How can you say I'm neutral on it if you try it, you get a taste, and then you get out?
Keep using it. Right.
And then, yeah. At some point, it's scary because the powers that be, whoever's controlling this, you know, Apple, you know, all the tech companies, they're pushing for this. It's like, what's the end goal? You say it's productivity, but isn't it really just to keep everybody home?
Yep.
That isn't ready.
It's brand loyalty. That's what it is. It's brand loyalty.
Yeah, it's and
then new shiny toy.
Dude, it's just, I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that I'm wrong. Like, I want to be wrong on this. I don't want to be right on this.
I would like you to be wrong too, but I just think this is going to bring us closer digitally, but drive us further away socially. Like, everyone is going to be talking in emojis. You know,
how do we procreate if we're not together and we're not doing the thing?
Oh, I would just shit. I don't know.
You email it. Say it, put it.
I was gonna say, like, just email you like a jizz emoji or something. Like, here you go.
Isn't that D-pics? Like, isn't that already?
Yeah, like,
dude, that's where I fear. Like, if you look at Japan, if you look at certain cultures where they've embraced pornography and all, you know, robots and sex bots and all that, their population is dwindling. They're not procreating. There's a massive amount of women who are single because they have left men behind because all they want to do is jerk off and play video games.
Right.
And then they go and rise in their corporate environment to high levels. So now these guys have no desire or confidence to step up to a woman who's making 10 times more than they're making. So now they're just gonna become extinct, dude. So like, let's look
and
to
you know
that.
why? Because they're socially retarded. Boom.
There you go. Yeah, dude.
There you go.
It's definitely
Thanks, Japan. Thanks for a vision into the future. Appreciate you.
We didn't solve anything though. Yeah, I think creating awareness for it. That's what it is.
No, that's absolutely what it is. Like, understand that there are people out here that you don't need to be slaves to your devices. You can still be people with people, because people with people is important a part about being a people.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
And dude, enjoy the thing. Like, watch TV, binge, but then get out. Like, don't become one of these minions that's all you do, right? That's your entire life. If you're going to work and all you're doing is talking about television, people realize that is the lowest common denominator in conversations. If all you're doing is talking about television or people, that's even lower. It's like, if you're talking about people, lowest common denominator, television, politics, and then it gets to the higher stuff, like where, we're talking about ideas. We're talking about solutions.
That's where I don't like to do politics. I don't like to do, current events, because I don't give a shit about either one. Like, I want to talk to you about the shit I thought about in the shower. What are your thoughts on this? Because I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. That's what interests me and entertains me and enlightens me, and maybe possibly kind of sort of by osmosis does the same for other people that I'm speaking with. But you're right. The social interactions we have now are so like almost just like robotic, which I mean is seemingly a wonderful word for what that is and what we've talked about. It's just almost a scripted. It's almost just a scripted program.
We're becoming NPCs.
Yeah. Just keep it. If you hit X on me a few times, I'll say the same thing I said 3 lines ago. It's like,
that's when we started the show, bro. That's what it was like. I was like, I'm becoming an NPC, where it's like branding, podcasting, over and over and over. I'm happy to talk about it, right? It's definitely helpful. I could talk about it all day long. But yeah, I don't want to become an NPC. I want to become aware that, like, hey, there's more dimension here. There's more to talk about. There's more stuff that's interesting. Yeah. Hey, I can help you here. I'm an expert here for sure. But hey, let's talk about this elephant in the room that people are not talking about.
And I think this is why podcasts are so important. And so, even though there's such a bevy of them out there, and I brought up the point of how I feel like I differentiate myself from other ones. Not that I'm by any means successful or anything. Would love to be. I'm fucking trying. But the ability to pivot and don't go off any like weird, boring agenda, cover the little bullet points. This isn't like a Zoom meeting for a corporate, meeting. You know what I mean? Like, this is like a conversation. And if you guys have an interesting thing to talk about, then do it. Because unfortunately, this is how people interact. Now, this is, in my eyes, this is using technology for good. Because you get to talk to someone you would never probably talk to, and have a conversation, share ideas, and just kind of bounce stuff off each other, and not be bogged down by political stuff or race stuff or, whatever. Like, whatever divides people now, which, that changes by the minute because America. So, I think podcasting is like a weird, beautiful throwback to radio, I guess. I don't really have a good way to put it. I used this term earlier. It's beautifully simplistic.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I think it's always evolving. But I do appreciate how it's staying simple. Other than video, like adding the video element gets a little more complex. That's where we come in, because people are like, hey, I could do the audio thing, but I don't know what to do with video. I'm like, hey, that's kind of easy too, but I guess it's easy to me and others, but not for everyone, So, but other than that, it's accessible, right? And And like you said, it gives you an opportunity to have conversations you probably normally wouldn't have. And dude, just to touch on that thing, like since we're touching all this stuff, and I'm like, here you go, Rich, take all the stuff that I've been thinking about, and I'm not really talking about on my stuff. Is that the whole ridiculous race thing, dude? I oftentimes forget that I'm brown. I don't even think about it. I remember I had this one girl on my team. She was like, "Hey man, it's this Black Lives Matter," just when it was all coming out. She's like, "We should black out our socials." And I was like, "Huh?" She was like, "Yeah, we should black out our socials. Like, put a black square." I wasn't paying attention, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, fine. That sounds right." You're like, I was like, "That sounds like, yeah, of course, people matter." So then later when I found out what it was and that it was all a scam, and then the woman behind it had bought like 3 mansions. Even before then, I was like, "Hey, yeah, the thing I said yes to, I don't want to say yes to anymore." So here's the point: if I want everybody and anyone who 1 or 100 or 10,000 people watches, go look up Morgan Freeman when he was interviewed by whoever. I forgot who it was. Some guy on some news station. And he was like, "Oh, Black History Month." And he's like, "How? Oh, are you celebrating it?" And he's like, Morgan Freeman's like, "No." He's like, "Well, why not?" And he's like, "Well, because I don't need a Black History Month. Do you need a White History Month?" And the guy's like, "Well, I'm Jewish." And he's like, well, doesn't matter. Do you want a Jewish History Month? And he's like, no. And Morgan Freeman's like, I guess you don't need to watch the clip because I'm doing the whole impression. But Morgan Freeman's like, I don't need Black History Month because Black history is history. It's history. So then the other guy goes, well then how do we solve racism? And he's like, stop talking about it. Stop talking about it.
So his solution on that was to have a month.
It's like, just don't talk about it. Why do we keep talking about this? That's what's agitating. That's what's shaking the whole jar. It's like, it's crazy, dude. It's propaganda, bro. Like, nobody cares. Nobody's talking about race. The media is talking about race. The government's talking about race.
Right.
We don't give a shit. We're like, you're a brother, you're a sister. We're all one. Let's just jam. I'm tired of this bullshit black and white stuff, man.
Yeah, it's silly.
It's ridiculous.
It really is silly.
It's people. If you're a dick, you're a dick. I don't care what color you are.
It's kind of how that should roll. And unfortunately, the unfortunate part, there are people that are predispositioned to assume said dickness based on, pigment. And if we didn't have like a delay, I was going to talk about this a few weeks back on the pod. I was like, I think Black History Month is the most silly thing. It's just like Valentine's Day. It's like, why do I and everyone else and all these corporations have to put forth this pretend we appreciate you because you're black during this month? Now the other love months, go fuck yourself. But Valentine's, it's like Valentine's Day. It's like, why do I need to show you I love you on this day? Why can't I just love you every day?
Yeah.
I think it's such a silly thing because you have these corporations that go in and they're like, oh, every email is about black. It's like, dude, you don't care. Please stop.
No,
like you don't care. I just feel like it's 100%. A slap. And you made that great point with the Jewish guy. It's like, yeah, I don't want a Jewish History Month. I don't want a White History Month. It's fucking weird. Like, why do you need a spotlight on you to ostracize you? That's what you're actually doing. You're ostracizing, which is called segregation.
Yeah,
it's like,
dude,
what are you doing?
Dude, I'm seeing it go the other way. Where I was on a plane, and no joke, dude, they asked this man and his wife to move seats, and he was like, "Why?" He's like, "I bought my ticket 3 months ago. Please get up, sir." They didn't give him a reason why. Who did they put in his place? It was a younger and an older black lady. And I'm like, no one's saying this out loud, but this shit is racism. Like, just flip it around. It's the same exact thing. Would that have ever happened the other way around? And he's like, I need a reason why. And he was asking the lady who was sitting there, who was taking a seat. He's like, when did you buy your ticket? She was like, yesterday. He's like, why am I getting pushed out of my seat? I bought this months ago. So it was like this weird tension, bro. And I'm like, I am witnessing some Rosa Parks stuff here, man. Like, this is backwards. It's okay to be racist.
What was the reason?
Way. It's okay. They didn't give a reason, bro. They didn't give a reason. They're just, sorry, you just got to get up. He was getting so agitated where they threatened to get him off the plane. I'm like, If this was the other way around and he was a black man for sure, he'd be like, oh yeah, let him say his piece. But it was a white man. And it was like, dude, we're being racist the other way. Like, hello, don't you get it? Let's stop. This is nuts, man. What is happening to America? This is what
this is on a plane.
dude. And I think I could say this. I'm brown, dude. I'm not black or I'm not white. I don't care. It's just like, I'm just calling out what I see.
Right. And it was on a plane, and they didn't move from like first class to economy. It was just
no. It was literally like a couple rows back. They moved him to a couple rows back. They split up. He and his wife were sitting together, and then they split them up, moved them back. And this woman wasn't disabled. The woman,
but even weird. If you were, you're on a fucking
weird,
plane. Like that's
weird.
That. Like that's why I was like, let me make sure if I have all. If like,
I was sitting there, I had my AirPods on, and then I'm looking at him, and I kind of just gave him that look, like, yes, I see it too, bro. Like I see it too. This is a weird thing. And I think, like you said, man, going back to like corporate, they don't give a shit. They just want to stir the pot. They want to cause division. People just naturally want to come together mostly, but corporations have an agenda to cause divide.
Well, because they have to do it because the corporate sponsors are like, yes, diversity. You have to pay. You have to do it. It's like, or you could just like stop shining all the lights on it. Like, I'm not saying don't be aware of it. That's fine. You can be aware, but it doesn't mean you have to. Like, I'm married to a biracial person. I don't go outside and say I love my black and white wife.
Yeah, she's just a woman. That's
right.
It. Yeah.
Like I take her on her walk and everything is fine.
I let her out once.
I let her out. She got to go potty.
Dude, I think these things were put in place, some of them with some good intentions.
Yes, yes.
Devolved into these DIE, whatever it is. Was it but anyway, it all these things where it's like it has nothing to do with the cause anymore, and it's checking the box.
Right, because it's like a game of telephone, and it's like it got filtered through all these colanders, and the message and the intention that's so kind of minuscule now that it's like, okay, it's February, we have to start sending out emails. It's like,
dude, America's a mixed pot,
right?
What about Asian History Month?
We get those too. I get those emails too.
Dude, what is nuts? It's like, yeah, I'm with Morgan Freeman. It's just history. It's America's history. It wasn't perfect.
Right.
Slavery was a thing around the world. Everyone had slaves. I'm not, like, it was a mistake that society and humankind figured out. Like, this is not a cool thing. It's still going on, by the way. Atrocities. We have iPhones. How was that built? Right now, everyone's turning a blind eye to that. Like, oh, you're down with slavery, but you're okay with it if it's a phone in your pocket.
Yeah.
Why don't you go over there and fight slavery in these countries? But the point is, everybody should just figure this out. Like, it's a psyop. We're being controlled to hate when it should be the opposite, and love and just like a community of people that are all in it together and recognizing bullshit and calling it out when we see it. People are afraid to do that, man. And we saw it in 2020, 2021. People were afraid. Dude, I literally walked into a pizza shop around that time. Like, it was mask, no mask, no. Like, it was still questionable. I walked in and I was waiting for my order and everyone had masks on. And I was like, what is going on? I'm looking around. I didn't say anything, but I felt weird. People had handkerchiefs on their face like they were Jesse James, like bandits and like the Wild Wild West. And finally, the guy with the bandit thing on his face, handkerchief, goes, "Yo, bro, where's your mask?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, man?" And he's like, "You gotta wear a mask when you're in here, man." And I was like, "What? This is weird." And then I go, "Well, if anything, it feels like I'm unprotected. You guys are all good, right? You guys got helmets and things on your face. I'm the one that's in danger." And they're like, "You better get out of here, bro." Like they were gonna pummel me, dude. Like, this is where we're at in society versus like, let's have a conversation. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about here. This doesn't make sense to me. First, and then now it's like, hey, let's fight. That's the bad. That's the dark side of society, where it's like, if I don't think like you and we don't agree,
it's violence.
Let's have violence versus words. Like that's how children act when they can't communicate, which they can't because they don't have the words and vocabulary yet. They choose violence. They punch, they slap, they cry. As humans, we have intelligence. Let's have a conversation. It's like, I'm trying to figure this out. But sometimes some people can't absorb what you're saying, right? They're not picking up what you're putting down. But anyway, that's my point. It's like we can go dark, but we don't have to. It could be light.
Yeah, I think the whole message is like, look, it's okay to use technology. At the end of the day, like it's okay to embrace technology, to use technology, but also use your willpower. Like you don't need to be glued to it. You can still use that thing that's in your head to figure out problems, or just it's such a weird thing to articulate, but I think the best way to put it is it's okay to still be a people. Like you can be a people with a people without having a screen in between you. Like it's okay. Like you won't get hurt, I promise.
Yeah, I think we'll be liberated. If you do watch that movie, which is a good movie, Ready Player One, at the end of it, spoiler alert, the users get control, right? That's the only industry that calls their clients and customers users, by the way, other than drug dealers in tech.
Fair.
So the thing is, in Ready Player One, everybody got so addicted. There's even scenes where like the mom is neglecting her kids because she's, shooting people and, in a game. And then at the end, they're like, they regulate it. They're like, hey, only Tuesdays and Thursdays, everybody can game. And then you got to unplug and just be part of the world. So I don't know. We might have to get to that point.
I mean, you essentially have that. I mean, you can set screen times, or you can set everything to shut down.
Yeah, but that's on you, right? Some people won't do it.
It is.
The Vision Pro has a battery that has a limited capacity. So I think like 2.5 hours and it dies. But people are already hacking it or figuring out a way where I'm just going to plug this right into the wall and just go all day, even though they don't recommend it. I remember when I got addicted to, I didn't realize that it was designed that way at the time. Clash of Clans was on my phone. And I would literally go into work late because I didn't sleep all night. Or I was playing it all day, gaining my coins and tokens and stuff. But there would be a pop-up after, I think, 12 hours. Hey, we're shutting this down because you've been playing for 12 hours straight. And I'm like, I would get so upset, dude. But then felt good to unplug. I'm like, oh, man, thank you. They do that shit in China, right?
Really?
Yeah, they regulate screen time on I'm not saying that they got things right. I know it's a communist state. But it's pretty wild. Like they're like, yeah, you guys, TikTok looks very different in China from what I understand. Like it is not about, dances and duck lips and implants. It's like optimistic stuff, like business, and like it's totally different from what I hear. But then it shuts off at a certain time, I think. So
I mean, it's a novel idea, but I think anything like that here, if you take any, like if you, we'll end it on this one. So I just looked at the time, I was like, God, I can't like keep you here. If there was some kind of legislation where you took everyone's heroin away, and you know how bad heroin is, there would be people that'd be like, can't take my fucking heroin. It's my fucking heroin.
Oh, we're gonna have some withdrawal for sure.
Yeah, and it's a great idea over there because it makes sense. It's like, okay, we are physically disconnecting you, like so you can go. Like you yourself have a battery, essentially, like you're recharging your battery so you can do whatever. But
dude, I think the reliancy and dependency on the government, there should be some responsibility on their end where if they have really their intentions are for the greater good of the people, then maybe a little by little they would institute something like that, where it's like what happened with Clash of Clans for me, a little pop-up. Although I hated it at the time, I was grateful. I was like, oh, thank you. Because dude, people don't have they can't self-regulate. They'll just go balls out. That's what binging, like, dude, I would never watch. If I turn on Netflix, I'm like, how long is this movie? Oh, it's 2 hours. I'm not watching that. But for sure, I'll binge on an 8-hour television show. That makes no sense. Right. So it's like, we don't have that capacity. We just do it if we want to do it. And even if it's to our detriment. So yeah, at some point there's got to be something. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It seems like control.
Maybe it's self-control. It's willpower, but we don't have the ability to do that. So the only way to do that is to have the government step in and do something like that. But that goes back to the whole thing of that doesn't make sense. I'm going to speak out on it. It's a cyclical
for sure
thing where there is no right answer. As much as people think there is not a right or wrong answer. There is just ideas.
Yeah. And there should be some level of accountability and self-control.
Yep, there should be.
Like there's a ton of cheap fast food out there. I'm not telling you to binge on it. I'm not telling you to eat that until you throw up. You can have it when you want. That's how I'll look at it. And we could leave it at that. To me, this stuff is fast food. I like to enjoy it once in a while, but it's not an everyday, all day thing. Because I know when I look in the mirror, my body and my mind will reflect my actions, right? So it's the same thing with all this Vision Pro technology, AI. It's like too much of it. You're going to look in the mirror and be like, what the heck? What happened to me? And then,
but people don't own mirrors. So that's the problem. They don't need to self-reflect. That's the thing, because the people in their lives that are supposed to kind of check you are doing the same fucking thing you're doing. So it's one of those, like, literally, it's like, well, I learned it from you, Dad. It's like, literally, I learned it from you. Like, what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. It's good, man. Thanks for the conversation.
Yeah.
It's good to get a lot of that out. I talk about this stuff with friends behind scenes, never on microphones. And every once in a while, I'll tell a friend, I'm like, yeah, we should just talk about this on a podcast. So thanks for allowing me to.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like and not a knock on what you do or anything, but I felt like this is a lot more interesting than talking about branding.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, not to be a dick about it, but I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm definitely interested, but I'm also like, oh, that was super more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I love branding. Like I said, I could talk about that stuff easily. It's too easy at this point. But I want to jam about topics that hopefully will enlighten somebody or piss somebody off. It doesn't matter, right?
Elicit an emotion. You emotionally crippled fucking people.
Yeah.
There you go.
But dude, it starts a conversation. That's what we need.
Yes.
Like, hey, let's come to the other side. Let me get a little bit of your perspective. And then we can.
And there's a difference between a conversation and an argument. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that either.
Yeah. The argument has ego behind it, because it's like you want to win. And where is that coming from? Maybe you were kicked around as a kid a lot. Maybe you were always your dad never allowed you to win an argument or chess,
right?
Whatever it was. So it comes deeper rooted. Like you have some driven ego thing inside you. Like, I need to win this argument, even though you're wrong.
Right. And that's where you get a lot of people that are just that. And that's how Twitter was made.
Yeah, dude. I think for sure there should be some digital detoxing Tuesdays or something where everybody just get the heck off your devices. But yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that could be like I don't know. Like, why can't you start that?
Right, dude. Just like we were talking about, we can institute Black History Month or whatever it is. Let's institute that. Or maybe let's just society does it on their own. We don't need the government. Let's just make it up. But everybody won't do it. But if the majority do it,
yeah. But if you get enough people to like, okay, let me just try this. Oh, it's actually this is nice. This reminds me when I was a kid. It's kind of cool. Then you get new habits and new hobbies, and I mean, you set it yourself with a business. Starts with a small foundation, then that's how that's how it blows up. So who's to say that's any better or worse of an idea than any other?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, listen, where can we find you? I'm all about the whole, promote your stuff, and I always put it on the notes and the discussion part of it. Are you standing? Have you been standing this whole time?
Yeah, bro.
You're a fucking lunatic.
I love standing. I'm burning calories. That's how I stay. That's how I stay 51 forever.
Yep, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, people can easily email me at Eric ERIK at onairbrands.com. Let me know that you heard me on your show. Want to continue the conversation? Happy to do it. But yeah, Eric with a K at onairbrands.com.
That stupid unnecessary letter again.
Yeah, it'd be easier if everybody spelled Eric with a C.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be weird. Like, we'll start how we finished or finish how we started.
Yeah.
It's good. Fuck the alphabet. Like, we need to
dude, let's keep it really simple. I think the Greek alphabet has, I don't even know how many letters. It's not a lot.
Forget COVID, forget the government, forget the presidents, fix the fucking alphabet, and we'll be fine. Obviously.
Dude, it won't matter anymore. AI is going to do everything. So
they don't even do cursive in schools anymore, which I'm like, that's super weird. Yeah. It's super weird. Like, I don't know. It's not like that big of a deal, but it's just like it's an odd thing because it was so instilled in your head. You need this, you need this, you need this. Yeah. Now it's like, I don't even think the kids can write cursive, right? Like if I went upstairs and asked my 14-year-old, write your name in cursive, I don't know if he could do it.
No. I mean, it's funny because they see it as what are you going to give me a feather quill to write in cursive? It's like,
right. Like, fuck off.
But yeah, for sure. It's definitely a skill set that was ingrained in us that had a purpose, that was like, you could write faster when all the letters are connected. There was a period of my life where I was writing in all caps because I thought it looked cool. And then I realized this is the worst way to take notes, man.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Plus, you're a douche for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's
you're that online guy.
Dude, you could not read it if I was writing fast. If I wrote slow, it looked cool. But yeah.
I don't even write stuff anyway. Like, pen and paper is super, and when I do it, it's like a hybrid of cursive and I don't even know what the hell not cursive is considered anymore.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I don't even remember what pre-cursive was. Holy shit. Oh, man.
But all right, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Yes, absolutely. This will get up here. I appreciate you taking all the time and thanks for having a good convo. This will get up here tomorrow. I'll send it out to you. And everyone, please listen. Please. I need to feed my kids. I don't. Fuck them kids. All right, man. Well, hey, listen, you take it easy. I appreciate it. Enjoy Jersey as much as you can.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
All right.
Take it easy.
You too.